Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and there was a video I did the other day about kind of funny games and Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller, virtue signaling, dad jokes, and giving in to regressive tactics, especially from those people who probably aren't even in your core audience base to begin with. And I hate to say it, I made a prediction in that video that said Colin would not be with Kind of Funny in less than a year. Now, I gave it a year speculation, and I was right. Just about 4 hours ago, Colin announced his resignation. He posted this to Facebook. It's with a heavy heart and great sadness that I announce my resignation from Kinda Funny, effective immediately. This morning, the guys and I had a constructive conversation and feel that, with our separate visions for the future and for the future direction of the company, it's time to go our separate ways. I want to be clear about this. This was my decision. Just as we collaborated as friends, so too do we part. I hope you continue to support them. I simply want to reconnect with what's most important to me: politics, history, philosophy, reading books. Talking about things I feel are most impactful and essential for a person like me. I want to thank everyone for their support of me and us over the years. When I started writing about video games professionally in 2002, I did this as a freshman in college. Never ever did I think I'd reach the heights I did. I owe a great deal to the audience that generously sustained me, supported me, and followed me. I also owe a lot to those who gave me opportunities to begin with. I will always remember and be grateful for this entire experience. Opportunities are popping up for me, beginning in a new, different, and exciting direction, a direction that I feel makes perfect sense for me. Obviously, you haven't seen or heard the last of me, far from it. I hope that when I return with what's next, you will support me there, just as you supported me for these many years. Your friend, Colin. That's a nice send-off. It is. It's a very nice send-off. He realizes that him and Kinda Funny are going separate directions. I do believe he was on Glenn Beck this morning, so if opportunities, again, speculation, I would say that it's entirely possible Colin ends up writing for something similar to The Blaze, if not The Blaze. That's where I feel, based on what I've read and what I've seen thus far about Colin, where he is wanting to go. Now, a lot of people out there are mad at Greg Miller, and I am myself, as a matter of fact. I'll be perfectly upfront honest with you. I feel Greg sold out his friend. I feel Greg tossed his friend under a bus in order to protect the business. And from a business perspective, I understand that. But also as a person who has gone through not the same thing, but similar things with friends, and being stabbed in the back is what comes to mind. I'm like, reading up about this morning, it legitimately made me mad. And legitimately made me feel sorry for Colin. It's something I never thought I'd ever do, because I just, like I said, I don't agree with the guy politically on a lot of things. I don't like his attitude on a lot of things, but I felt the need to defend him, and I still feel the need to defend him. This is a situation that you can, if you listen to what they say, all right, and they're coming out and they're like, oh, it was a mutual decision. We've been going two separate ways for a long time. Colin is, he's moving on. This was his choice, yada, yada, yada. I'd be willing to buy it, with the exception of one thing. And that was on the Kinda Funny show this morning, where when they talked about it, Colin came out and made a comment about a buyout. Right? He made a comment about a buying out of his shares. And then they made a comment about him traveling, And he was like, well, my shares aren't worth that much money. And then he came back about, 5-6 minutes later after that, and made another comment to their guy Kevin behind the scenes, saying, hey, if you want to buy out my shares, then you can then have full control over Greg, have more power in the mix. And it was meant to be this kind of funny, lighthearted moment, but there was a reason why it happened. Okay, it gives you more insight without being said of what went down behind the scenes, which leads me to believe this is probably what happened. Last week, Colin made the tweet on International Women's Day. There was a big upset over it. Greg responded with throwing him under the bus. And I think at that moment in time, before Greg made that point or made that statement, Colin was already done. That everything was already being set in motion to remove him from the company. Because this is a guy that whether or not he wants to go do more with politics and reading books and philosophy, this is still a company that he built, a company that is growing, and a company that is earning money. Money enough to sustain living in San Francisco, right? And to do well for yourself in San Francisco. So why would he turn his back on something and sell away his shares on something that is making money? Wouldn't his friends who want him to succeed want him also to be a shareholder in the company that they all created together as a way to sustain him financially as he moves on with his life? Isn't that part of building a business, essentially, is to turn it into something you don't even have to work on and make money at, right? Essentially, or do less work down the road or delegate it and still earn a lot of money. So from a business perspective, you're starting to see a couple of things that went down. One, Greg and the other guys fucking choked under the pressure from their regressive leftist friends in San Francisco. Guaranteed it was under pressure. All right. The spineless twat that Greg is in this particular moment. And I completely stand by that statement. If it was me, I would have backed Colin, backed my best friend, my roommate, my bro, my brother. I would have backed him in a fucking heartbeat. And like, I'm sorry you don't like the joke. But no, people who aren't the core base of our audience, they might not like it. Come the fuck on. All right, Greg, you're getting up there on your show and you're talking about this was a unity decision. No, this is you fucking forcing his ass out. And the comments on the buyout are precisely the proof of that. Because it's not so much that he's resigning effective immediately, that he's moving on with his life. You're excommunicating him from the company that he co-founded. And you even say, oh, well, he'll always be a co-founder. If it was me, I'd be like, you're not going to take my fucking shares. I fucking built this shit. I'm still going to profit off this shit. You don't like it, take me to fucking court. Or be my friend and back me. Be my friend and support me. The worst thing that they did is address this fucking issue. And they opened the door up. They negotiated with terrorists is the best way to describe it. And again, from a business perspective, I do understand it. And I get it. People can argue, well, it's just business. It's one of the reasons why you never get into business with your best friends. You do. You just don't. Because something like this might happen where the friend is basically has to make that choice. Do I stand by my brother or do I throw him to the wolves? We know what happened here. Greg threw fucking Colin right to the wolves. And now here's the thing. They'll never talk about this publicly. Maybe not for like 10 years or something. Not until Colin moves on and does his own thing, or if there's a complete split and fracture in the friend group and everything else. And I'm not saying they're leaving entirely on horrible terms. They looked like they were friendly enough through body language and the Kind of Funny cast while they were hugging and everything else. There was awkwardness that was there, but then when Colin came back a few minutes later to talk about the shares, there was a bit more of a friendly vibe. So I don't think they're leaving as enemies. But the rift is there. And it's like I said last week with the video about it, with Colin leaving in a year. Once the seeds of discontent are sown, it's over. All right, once that trust level has been broken, once you throw someone you are working with under the bus in a very public way, it's over. They shouldn't have even addressed it, as I said. They should have just gone about their fucking business. And if people get mad, you fucking lose them. Right? It's like I say. You don't owe your opinion to your audience. You don't owe anything to your audience in terms of your opinion. Provided the content and the quality still remains the same, you're pretty much fucking fine. And the core audience out there, the ones that watch the multiple channels, the ones that do all that stuff, that fund you guys, they're not going to care. But giving in to the regressive mindset that comes out of San Francisco, the smug fucking mindset of people that would rather cast you out, excommunicate you from the group, feed on you like a husk of a corpse for saying one thing out of line, is precisely who Greg Miller gave his best friend to. And so as a result, I've unsubscribed from Kind of Funny. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I don't like Colin, but he was the counterbalance. He was that counterweight. And now it's just an echo chamber. And one that is so willing to give in to the demands of sycophants and bitches on Twitter. And that's what's going to happen. So, another prediction. Kind of Funny will kind of be dead let's call 2 to 5 years. It's a long stretch. It's not happening right away. But again, that initial rift has happened. Kind of Funny will start losing people one by one. They'll move on to other things. I'm assuming Greg will probably be the next person to go. And I say that only because he's an opportunist. And if he feels that it's starting to, I guess, what's the word I want? If it's starting to kind of crash and burn, which, again, these kind of rifts tend to do that. Once they breach the hole, you're fucked. He'll move on to something else simply because that is going to be his way out. You can always tell when a rat jumped ship. So there's going to be that. And then the other guys might stick around for a while because that's their job. Some other larger company will come on in. If I had to guess, maybe Discovery, maybe Reb3 will come on in. They'll do something else. Or CNET will come in and make Kind of Funny part of the Giant Bomb family, consume it. Or it's entirely possible IGN will come on in as well and also try to consume it because of the popularity of the brand and the name, and then bring them back into the fold. Very similar to how, Gertzman started Giant Bomb after leaving GameSpot. CNET, who owns GameSpot, eventually bought Giant Bomb and brought him back in. So you can kind of see what's going to happen. In the meantime, Colin, I do wish you the best of luck, whatever it is that you do. I wouldn't sell my shares, but I don't think you had much of a choice. And yeah, and it's just this is a story that is very much food for thought for anyone out there wanting to get into business with your friends, because yes, business does matter, and those issues involved stemming from this particular tweet do matter, but how you respond to them, not with a knee-jerk apologetic reaction, but with a say you're sorry, we're going to stand by you, and move on business as usual and leave it at that. Or just fucking ignore it is the best course of action. Because it is negotiating with terrorists. And once you negotiate, once you give them that inch, they take that fucking mile. And they destroy your company. Because they are very much like a virus. They are very much like a virus. They are never content. They are never content to just stop at one. So we'll see. 2 to 5 years, Kind of Funny will either be gone or be sold to a larger conglomerate and enveloped in to a larger gaming medium. Those are my predictions. Curious to know what you guys think on this one. Go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. My name is Mundane Matt. If you guys haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel. Check back often for more content from me. Have yourself a great day, guys. And remember, a tweet is a tweet, and tweet are words, and words can't fucking hurt you. So don't get your panties in a twist over them. Okay, Greg?